Hello, heroes and Zargons. My name is Matt, or Blackbird if you prefer, and this is the Trials and Tribulations of Zargon, a series which details the many ways in which the Emperor's heroes foil Zargon and his minions in their plots to conquer the Empire. In it, we'll review the published quests and any house rules or modifications we're using to make the game more interesting and challenging. In this episode, I'll be discussing a homebrewed character I created. So, in our campaign, I've been playing the hero characters, and David has been playing Zargon. He had designed a 3-board quest based loosely on one of the quests from the Wizards of Morcar expansion pack, and he wanted me to have more than just 4 characters going into this enormous quest. I've got the original Barbarian, Dwarf, Elf, and Wizard, which I've started with and have been gaining levels and updating them as much as possible. I also have the Elven Rogue, which I've started gaining some levels for as well. So that's 5. Then I have another Barbarian, which I got from the Frozen Horror Quest pack when we played that. This Barbarian is not well equipped and not leveled at all, because throughout the Frozen Horror quests, this Barbarian kept dying and was not able to gain any levels or retain any good equipment. Even still, a base level Barbarian as the 6th character in your party is not all that weak and unimportant. It doesn't have to be the most powerful character in the party. Then Dave was going to give me 1 mercenary to buy, so I chose a swordsman for that, and he asked me to homebrew my own character as the 8th hero to join the quests. I chose to make a monk, and it was kind of funny that about a week after that, the Path of the Wandering Monk was announced at Gen Con, and there's going to be a real monk in the game. Now, I'm not going to get into the contentiousness of whether or not a monk belongs in HeroQuest, and why the people that think monks don't belong in HeroQuest are wrong. I'm just here to talk about the character I created and the skills and abilities that I chose to give that character. So, the monk that I created, I kept in line with the other newly added character classes, and I gave them 3 skills which they can use during quests. Now, I don't have any fancy cards or character sheets drawn up, so I'm just going to quickly explain my thinking. Skill number 1 I called Unarmed Combat, and this is pretty standard for monks. I decided that the monk could be equipped with a bandolier to disarm traps and for ranged dagger throws, but can have no other offensive or defensive equipment, and the monk will use 3 dice for attacking and 3 dice for defending. I figured since they can't use any offensive or defensive equipment, the dice rolls for attacking and defending should be boosted from the start. The second skill I call Meditate, and it lets the monk heal themselves for up to 3 body points and can be used a half mind point number of times, rounded up. Now I let my monk start with 6 body points and 4 mind points, adding up to 10, which is the standard. So, Meditate can be used 2 times during a dungeon. The third skill leans into our house rule about wandering monsters. You can find out about this rule in several of our other videos, but basically, wandering monsters will show up to join battles if battles take too long. The third skill is called Distract, and it allows the monk to discreetly throw a small pebble down a corridor or into a corner of a room, distracting monsters, and this will reset the wandering monster timer. It can also be used a half mind point number of times rounded up, meaning 2 times before the monk's mind points are boosted at all. I also came up with 10 levels for the monk to earn, just like all of our other characters have 10 levels that they could possibly earn. The first 5 levels are stat boosts. The monk can earn 1 extra body point, 1 extra mind point, 1 extra attack die, 1 extra defend die, or 1 more extra defend die. The other 5 levels are additional skills. The first skill I called Fancy Footwork, and it lets you use some of your movement, then take an action, and then use the rest of your movement. This is a skill that I'm sure many people have house ruled into existence for one reason or another, and it even shows up for real in the Path of the Wandering Monk. The next skill I called Aura of Meditation. When using the Meditate skill, which heals up to 3 body points, the effect is not only on the monk now, but can reach adjacent heroes as well. The next skill I called Distracting Presence. While using the Distract skill, in addition to resetting the Wandering Monster timer, the skill now has a chance to distract any monsters that are already visible on the board. All of those monsters will roll a mind point number of d6, and any 5 or 6 means that they are immune. If they don't roll 5s or 6s, they lose their next turn. The next skill I have I called Counter Strike. If an enemy attacks and causes no damage, either by rolling no skulls or if all the skulls are defended, you can have an immediate counterattack that does not count as your turn, and the enemy can defend this counterattack as normal. Finally, the last skill I called Pressure Points. Your study of monster anatomy has paid off. If you roll all skulls during an attack, the monster cannot defend. I'm not sure how this skill will work out. Obviously, when you add the extra attack die, it makes it harder to get this skill to activate, but we'll see what happens. And that's it for the quick overview of my homebrewed character. I've only played this character in one quest so far, so I'm interested to see how it's going to pan out over several quests. Please like and subscribe, and if you have any homebrewed characters of your own that you've put into play, or have any ideas for some that you want to try out, leave them in the comments. We can plot together there.